Hey everyone,
Hi,
I'm Sanjay Raj from the Energy Shift Method,
and I'm Preeti Vatwani from Another Perspective.
and this is the Two Bunnies podcast. Alright, so today's topic is something everyone likes, and it's on money, right? And money in terms of money limitations, money blocks, all the subconscious limiting beliefs around money. And we bring up some of these because these are limiting beliefs we shifted within ourselves and clients that had created a lot more money coming into our lives in ways we just couldn't even expect. So one very significant example that I remember was when I was in a corporate job a couple of years ago, and I didn't really like it in the sense that, well, of course, the pay wasn't as good. It wasn't what I expected, and I did enjoy the job to a certain extent, but it didn't feel like I had the ability to make a lot more. So, these were some of the limitations I felt, and what I started doing was I went out to look for other roles, other recruiters I was going after and trying to pitch myself in. But the thing was, I was in that job only for less than a year, but I really felt that stuckness and I had to move out. So recruiters were telling me, it's impossible. You can't get another job because you've only been in the role for 1 year, and it's going to be really hard to represent you. And the kind of salary you're looking for, given your years of experience, impossible. So I heard a lot of this impossible. And typically, if I hadn't been doing this energy work, I would just take it as it is. But I did a lot of work on myself, and we worked on very specific subconscious beliefs. So I realized that I had some subconscious beliefs around money. If I had too much money, it would actually make me a bad person. And I also had this belief where, interestingly, I shouldn't earn more than my parents, because you see, my dad worked in a job for over 30-40 years, and he received a good salary. But what I was looking for was a phenomenal, fantastic salary from my reference point. And subconsciously, I felt that if I were to earn more than him, then it would be dishonoring him. So you can see all these weird blind spot subconscious beliefs that were there, and you get to identify this when you do the inner work. So when I cleared stuff like that, things started shifting. But the one that really tipped the scale was when we worked on my worthiness level. So in a lot of the modalities, and you may have heard, you don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you think you are worth. And I had this worthiness feeling that, because I only had certain number of years of experience in this specific kind of role, I wasn't worthy of asking for so much more salary. And subconsciously, when you don't feel you're worth that much, it's very hard to attract those kind of opportunities to you. So we worked on all the subconscious beliefs, cleared them out, using theta healing and manifestation techniques, and suddenly interviews just started coming in. I was getting referrals from friends who used to work in companies, and they knew people, and all this inflow of opportunities just started coming into me. So I applied for these roles, and I was going for interviews, and then I got really close to this role that I really, really liked. And this role I really liked, I know, because I was very specific in my manifestation. And then it came down to the salary component. So, of course, the hiring manager would at some point ask what I was expecting as a salary. And this is the part that stumped me, because I was in the recruitment space, and my belief system was the market rate, right, is around 15-20%. Anything more than 40% is you're asking for too much.
Ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, right? And so I had this belief system, and I was ready to just go ask for that 25%. And it was at that point I felt like, even if I did ask for the 25%, I wouldn't feel happy, because I worked so much on my worthiness. I knew I was worth more, close to 10,000 at least, right? And so, after working on myself,
Not 10,000 percentage, isn't $10,000 worth?
Dollars, yeah. Singapore dollars. And what happened was, I got into the interview, the hiring manager, and I was a little nervous, but I felt this new wave of confidence and this conviction that I knew I was worth $10,000 more. And so when they asked how much I was expecting, I was like, I'm expecting 10,000. And this was double what I was actually earning. So this is
it's
a 100% increase,
increment.
right? So when you blast off all the subconscious beliefs, you behave and act in a different way. So I asked for a 100% increase, but I didn't say 100%. I just asked for $10,000, and immediately
Yeah.
he said, "Okay, let's do it." And I was like, I should have asked for more.
And what I remember also, this was a new role in a company that you did not have.
No, I had less than a year experience
Yeah.
in that.
So it wasn't something where you were experienced, so that you had a ton of like knowledge behind it. It was one of those where you asked, and
Yeah.
basically the universe, or in this case your manager, was like, your wish is my command.
Yeah, because the beauty of this scenario that was manifested was I manifested a company that was not the kind to ask about your previous salary. So
Yeah.
it was more about them asking what you're worth, and if they feel based on the interview that's what you're worth, that's
You
what
just
you
get
get.
it.
And in my mind, that was never a reality before,
No.
because in the recruitment space we never heard of this.
Yeah.
So that panned out really well for me. And what I want to say is that when you get paid what you're worth, how the kind of dedication and passion you have for the company also translates into that, because in that company I really enjoyed myself. I gave my 100%, and I really felt like this company is taking care of me. You know, it's seeing my worth and value, and I gave back to the company as well. So it was a manifestation where I contributed, and some beautiful company contributed back to me as well. So all that happens when you clear your subconscious beliefs and shift the energy to allow all that to come into you.
Yeah, and I think I love how you use the word contribution, right? Because when I work with a lot of our clients, or we work with a lot of our clients, a lot of times when my client goes in for an interview, it's almost seeming like they're begging for the role,
Yeah.
right? Or they're like, oh, like, please take me, like, I'll do anything for this role. And that on one hand is great, because you maybe show your sincerity for the role, but it kind of undermines the value that you bring to the company, right? So I always have this perspective with my clients that, hey guys, like, as much as the company is paying you an X amount, you are providing value too. So don't be afraid to negotiate. Don't be afraid to state what your value and worth is, or what you're looking for, because at the end of the day, it needs to be a contribution to the both of you. It's not one way or the other.
Absolutely. And if you're going to negotiate a salary, if it's something that's higher than market rate, it becomes much easier and more authentic when you are negotiating, when you truly inside believe that that's what you're worth. And
Yeah.
that's what the inner work, the subconscious reprogramming, the energy shift really helps with, because you then truly believe in your core
Yeah.
that's what you're worth. And when you go and present yourself to a hiring manager, they see the authenticity, and that's what reflects in basically what you get out of the whole negotiation. So that was one really significant event for me. And of course, I mean, there's been a lot more after that, but we'll touch on it on the other episodes.
Yeah. I think before I share my story, I'd just like you to take a few moments here and pause, or come back to this after the entire video, and ask yourself this question. What is it that I need to be or do in order to feel more worthy? Right? Because at the end of the day, all of the things that you feel that you need to be or do are the stories that are keeping you from actually truly feeling worthy. So if you journal, this is something I would journal at the end of the day, or if not, at least come back and ponder it, because I guarantee you there will be a lot in that list that may point you to certain limiting beliefs or perspectives that once you get rid of would absolutely change your life. So coming back to where we were, I think for me it was really strange, because I was doing sales for a number of years, and month on month I was hitting my targets consistently. So like 100%, 110%, I was getting awards, and I was doing pretty well, let's say, in my career. So then came a time where it was December 2019, yes, 2019, and that's the month we both got married. And so that month I did not hit my target, and I was like, you know what, maybe that's fine, because I was kind of busy prepping for our wedding, and obviously priorities kind of changed for that month. So I'll give it a try and do my best next month. January came and I still wasn't hitting my target, and I was like, oh, maybe start to the year, Who knows what's happening? I'll try again in Feb. I did not hit my target, and I was like, what is going on? Because in my 4 or 5 years of previous experience in sales, I have never had 3 consecutive months of not meeting my targets. So I went in for a theta healing session then, and my mentor back then said, Preeti, like, let's go through a few belief points. And I said, sure. And she said, okay, how would it feel if you would earn more than my husband? I was like, I feel great. And she's like, how would your husband feel? And I was like, he's really supportive.
I'm sure. I'll be happy.
You'd be fine.
So, like on a conscious level, she knows that I'll be totally fine. I know I'll be totally fine, and this is where it gets a bit tricky.
Yeah, and then she was like, okay, what if it comes to a point if the society knows you potentially earn more than Jay? And I was like, I think they would kind of judge that the man of the house is not bringing value, or he's not the breadwinner of the family. And so it was really weird, because this subconscious belief of me doing well equals to potential disrespect to my husband was blocking my potential to earn. And again, because I was so new to this field and exploring specific beliefs around money, I was like, you know what? Let's get rid of it, because at the end of the day, I totally believe that my husband would be okay, my in-laws would be okay, my parents would be okay, so I don't really need a reason to stop myself just because of what society thinks or says. And so at that point, we kind of reprogrammed my subconscious mind into a few different things. So I had the belief that in order to protect my husband's name, I need to sacrifice myself. In order for me to maintain the respect of my husband, I need to earn less money, and I will do whatever it takes to keep the name of my family intact. And here's the weird part. I have never had this conversation with Jay. My in-laws, my parents never had this conversation with me, but somewhere along the lines of rituals and traditions and passed down genetic beliefs of what it means to be a wife, I had now taken on the role of what it meant to be a wife, and unknowingly kind of started self-sabotaging myself. And so in that session, we cleared all these beliefs, and believe it or not, come March and April, my paycheck was back to 110%, and that's when I realized how I was self-sabotaging myself just because of my new title. So it's really strange how money beliefs work. I think given the society, or given my society that I live in, there are certain expectations around certain gender, like the man earns more, the woman earns less, or certain beliefs around how you should earn, what is considered honorable and not very honorable. And that's what I love about this other modality that we mentioned, access bars. They say money is not the problem, you are, right? And it's funny because we have so many beliefs and judgments about money that in some way or the other, we tend to self-sabotage ourselves.
Yeah, and it just blocks the abundance.
Yeah.
And as you hear these stories, you get to understand that these subconscious beliefs often can be really ridiculous, right? It just doesn't make sense. But it's actually been shown how these beliefs actually pass down generation by generation, through some form of genetics, through our environment, through just media, and it just gets embedded into the subconscious, and that radiates out as an energy, and that's the energies that we in our work try to like remove as much as possible. And then it starts to allow more of the abundance to come in.
So this is, I think money is one of the most favorite topics of Jay and I.
We definitely do more topics on money.
And as you can see, this is the work, sharing the testimonials right here on the kind of shifts we do for our clients, because I think with the number of years of experience and the varied clients we've had, along with the intuitive guidance that Jay and I have, it's something it's a topic that's very close to our hearts. So look at your money beliefs, or at the very least, at the end of today, please look at what do you need to be or do in order to feel more worthy.
And here's a bonus, right? So maybe also a takeaway to think about. Might you feel on any level, some part of you feels that money is the root of all evil? If you have too much money, you'll be too stressed. Or if you are very abundant, you become an evil person, or you lose your values, or families break up. Think about how that feels to you.
Yeah.
If at the back of your head you have this bit of an ache feeling like, oh, yeah, that actually might be true. Maybe I've seen that before. That's an indication you may have those subconscious beliefs blocking more wealth and abundance coming into your life. So be aware of them, and when you start to clear them, then you see the magic happen.
Yeah. All right. I hope that's helpful. And again, once again, leave us comments, DM us, and any other topics that is close to your heart, because we're here to hopefully impact your journey as we progress in ours. So take care and see you in the next one. Bye.
See you.